the hair, camp look, no shave, no haircut. So I'll be cleaned up next week. Don't worry. All right, I'm ready.
We like it this way. You look like you're busy.
All right.
Good. You guys, questions for Aidan?
Did the weather slightly remind you of what you used to go through at Notre Dame?
I mean, I love the weather here. California has perfect temperature. You know, there's a nice little range that we sit in. It's never too hot, never too cold. You know, some days it's a little sneaky hot, we call it, but every day has been perfect weather here. I love it.
Aidan, can you tell us how the D-line's looking, and who among maybe the newcomers, there's quite a few of them, are you impressed with so far?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for this D-line. You know, we had returned a lot of guys last year. You know, we lost Rick, love the guy. He was a huge part of our D-line, and we got some guys, young guys coming up through the ranks. You know, MA starting to take a role here. BJ, you know, they're put in position to play for us and do well for us this season, and we're really relying on those guys to fill in those roles. You know, guys we have still here, Stan, Derek, TJ, we expect them to not only do as well as last year, but improve. Myself, you know, I have very high goals for myself, and we have very high standards for this D-line, and we just want to keep pushing that envelope and make this defense what we believe it can be.
How do you expect to be better personally?
I worked on a lot this offseason, focusing on my hands, my strike, my extension, you know, my hand placement, working on a little bit pass rush, you know, when getting on edges, when I have those one-on-one blocks, really taking advantage of that. You know, I want to really improve my game. I want to take things I did well last year and continue them, but also work on things that I need to do better from last year, and hopefully do that through this season.
Do you feel like a better player?
I do feel like a better player. I think this offseason with Coach Novak, the strength training, the running, and his entire staff was amazing. You know, he got us in there running all the time, and he did everything with a purpose, and I loved everything he did. And he got our bodies feeling great for spring ball, for this fall camp. I think that I'm the strongest and fastest I could be, the healthiest I can be, and I'm really excited for next week.
For guys on the outside, it's tough sometimes to tell what interior defensive linemen are doing.
Right.
How do you judge when you've had a good game and when you've played well?
Honestly, when I look at every game, I always want to be better. I'm my biggest critic. I always say that. I hope everyone is their own biggest critic. But judging off a game is, I want to just be as consistent as I can with my job, within my technique. I want to be consistent with my hand strikes. I want to be consistent, staying in my gap, holding blocks, getting off blocks, winning on those one-on-one opportunities, and just making plays. Like that's how I see myself being successful in every game, and how I want to measure my success.
And the tackle numbers aren't really indicative always, right? I mean, when you say making plays, that doesn't mean just tackling, right?
Yeah, no. As an interior guy, you know, there's a lot more than than just tackles, TFLs. We also do a job for our linebackers who are able to scrape over top. You know, sometimes we're outnumbered on certain blocking schemes, and we need to win on a double down block for a counter scheme. And you know, we're in a 2-eye and we're getting down by the guard and the tackle, and we have to replace. You know, we're outnumbered on that side, and one of us has to win the job and do a little bit more so we can win that matchup. And so sometimes you don't get a lot of credit for it, but it's our job and something I love doing.
Is that something that, as a D lineman, you sort of understand that you're not going to be in the spotlight necessarily, but what you do matters?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I think every job on the field is very important, and as long as everyone is doing their job, 1 of 11, then that team and that rep is going to be successful. I think that you have to embrace your role no matter what it is. Sometimes you're going to be that guy, that the fall guy, as people say. You have to embrace that, but then you're going to sometimes get those chances. You're going to get that call where they're putting you on that one-on-one position to win, and they're expecting you to win, and you got to take advantage.
The offensive line has had a major reconstruction between last year and this year, and have a new coach as well. How have you seen their development, and what are you seeing from them as you're pretty much at the end of fall camp?
I think the biggest change that I see is mentality. I love Coach Keanaaina and what he does. His biggest thing that I continually hear him rep to his guys is having this mentality as an offensive line, to be aggressive. We're downhill, we're going to be a running offense this year, and I think that they've really embraced that. I think we have a lot of turnover for this O-line, and I think they've done a great job of coming together, creating that bond, creating that big up front 5 that can work together and not only protect our QB, but also push that ball down the field and create a lot of success on the ground.
I think when you were in Charlotte for the media days, you mentioned the guy you didn't want to be in the elevator with.
Right.
So can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. All right. Remind me. Who did I? Because I know who I said I want. I actually, thinking about it now, I want to go back because I said the one I wanted to be in the elevator with was Cade. There's another one that I do want to be in the elevator with, and that's Aidan Keanaaina. He's our guard. He's one of our guards, and I live with him. Dude is amazing with his work. I think if we're starting together, he'll personally take the opportunity to fix it himself.
So, but you said the guy you didn't want to be in was Sagapul and
Oh, Jared, yeah.
Because he
Yes.
gets hungry all the time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you watch me today, that man talked about food and how he can eat all day long. And living with him as well, I live with him as well, he can eat. That man is always eating, and I swear he might eat more than some of these linemen, but, he holds it very well. He's running fast on the field. He's making great athletic plays, but I still 100% agree I would not want to be in an elevator with him. I'm an older guy. He's a younger guy. I feel like I would have to take the parenting role or the older role and control the situation. And he's going to sit there. He's like, I have DoorDash in my room. I need to go get it. But no, I love the guy and love him.
At least have some snacks ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Aidan, you guys were very good against the run last year. Certainly is a measure to a degree of the defensive line. How do you think this team stacks up in that category? I mean, do you expect to be as good or better defending the run?
Like I said before, we have very high standards for this year. We're returning a lot of guys from last year, so I think that D-line is not even going to be the same, but even better than that, and we're going to grow from it. And I'm really excited about our linebacker core behind us. We have Cade, and I think a lot of people are underrating him for the year. I think that he has a lot to prove, and he's going to do that. I think he's going to show out this year and do amazing for us. I'm excited to have him behind us. And some of those new guys back there, Luke Farrelly, you got Harrison Taggart back there. I'm really excited for those guys. Boom. I've seen them throughout camp to just working, and it's my favorite thing to see is on film is when we're down an inside run or one of those hard drills. When I'm in there and I just see that running back, instead of like scraping slowly, he's just running through that gap and taking away and taking blocks off. I always come over and thank him, like, that's so kind of you, just to come take the block off of me, take one of the two guys off of me. It's very nice, and I'm just really excited for this defense. I'm excited to see how it works and to see how we can grow upon what we did last year.
Sort of across the board, people don't think much of what you guys can do this year as a team. Are you guys aware of that? Do you care, or do you use it as fuel, or how does that work?
I'm not gonna lie, I did not know that we were underdogs. I don't look at media for that. I try to stay away from social media. I focus on the opponent ahead of me. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What can I do to best prepare myself for that? I love being underdog. I mean, I've always loved that. My favorite games are away games. I like walking into enemy stadium, being hated by fans. I've always said that. But, I love being in that underdog position because being, underrated and not believed to be as good as you are or what you're capable allows you to prove people wrong. And I think that's the story for everyone. I think that's the story for our team is to, go past what people expect for us and show them that we can be a great football team.
Back to football real quick. Do you feel the co-defensive coordinator thing's been a success so far?
Yeah, no, I love it. Coach Soto up front, he's calling our up front stuff very aggressive, very fun. I'm moving around, I'm getting one-on-one blocks. I love being aggressive front. Coach TB in the back end. He's got those coverage set. I think this co-defensive coordinator thing is amazing because both of them are playing to their greatest strengths, and they work so well together. Our entire defensive staff, they're so collaborative with what they do that we're able to have this kind of situation and have it work so well. And that's why I think it's going to be a strength for us.
Where have you seen the most growth for MA and BJ? You mentioned them, and Coach mentioned them the other day as well.
I think, besides strength, I think MA is one of the strongest guys I've ever seen. Of course, he's a freak athlete. And BJ, long guy, long arms, great punch, great extension. I think both of them are getting more comfortable in their role. I think their block rec is getting much better. I think they've been improving their footwork through this entire camp. And then, just simple things that you need to consistently rep to get better. Pad level, strike, extension, reading blocks, knowing what the technique is of the play that we called. I think they're just, more and more reps of that is getting them more and more comfortable to where we can have confidence in them to be on the field.